News for you later in the day. South Africa's high unemployment rate continues to be a significant concern. Remember, Melissa was talking about the unemployment rates earlier in the week, so of course we have to unpack the problems and potential solutions. I'm talking about the latest quarterly data from Stats SA. It's indicating the country's unemployment rate has gone up, ever so slightly, but still gone up. It was 32.9 in Q1. In Q2, it's 33.2% between April and June. It's very worrying. There's an increasing call for a government of national unity to prioritise job creation. And of course, we have this national convention coming up, this national dialogue. Where does the youth fit into this? Where's all the promised jobs that government has spoken about over the years? Why can't they deliver on that promise? Well, I would love to get the views of the IFP. I'm very glad to have the Chief Whip, Mr. Nhlanhla Hadebe, joining us this afternoon. Mr. Hadebe, good afternoon to you. And I get the sense government has lots of ideas. They have lots of plans, but speaking to viewers and listening to radio interviews, government can't implement their plans. Is that something you would agree with? Good afternoon, Mr. Hadebe.
Good afternoon, Gareth. Good afternoon to your viewers at home. Thank you for having me. Yes, I would agree to some extent with many of those that are feeling that plans are there, but we are lacking at putting those plans into action. And it has always been our concern as well as the IFP all these years that there seems to be good plans in place, but what is lacking is implementation. And you are quite correct that the unemployment rate currently stands at 33.2% in the second quarter of 2025. And a staggering unemployment rate is indicative of economic decline, Gareth.
Whose fault is that, Mr. Hadebe? Who do you think is primarily to blame for that? Somebody must be to blame.
Well, it's a national challenge. All of us, it's a country's challenge that if there is economic decline and instability, and we must all agree, Gareth, that at the heart of this lies the fact that South Africans are unable to provide for themselves and their families. And, you know, we are celebrating the Women's Month this month in August, and women continue to carry a heavier share of this burden with an unemployment rate of 35.9%. And this calls for swift action. And as the IFP, our view is that there has to be a consistent, revitalized approach that puts job creation at the center of economic policy.
We've been hearing, Mr. Hadebe, with respect, we've been hearing about this revitalized job program. They keep changing the title every year. It's something else every year, a revitalized job program. It doesn't come to fruition. I take your point that it is everybody's problem. I agree with you. But government's job is not to create jobs. I will concede to that. But it is government's job to create an environment for employment and economic growth. And I think government is getting that wrong at every level. You agree or disagree?
Well, our view as the IFP, Gareth, is that if we can put more effort into targeted and adequately funded programs to support SMMEs, investment in labor-intensive sectors, National Women's Economic Participation Fund to drive inclusive growth, especially in underserved rural and township communities. It's the views that we have and hold highly as the IFP that it is time for us to recognize as government and as a country the vital role and massive potential of small businesses, particularly in rural and semi-urban communities. Yes, I do agree with you that a lot more has to be done. And with the right tools, funding, skills and mindsets, women can create value for themselves, their households and their communities. And granting trade tools, Gareth, for startups and small businesses is approaching employment creation with a sense of realism and practicality.
Do you think that realism and practicality, Mr. Hadebe, last question, that realism and practicality you speak of, sir, this national convention starting tomorrow, do you think something of value for job creation will come out of this convention and the national dialogue? Last question.
Well, as South Africa, we don't have any other choice. With this national convention coming up, it's one of the last hopes that we must grab and make use of. And I believe that all the great minds that will be participating in that national dialogue will be able to come up with something tangible and practical to change the fortunes of this country.
Well, I really, really hope so. I look forward to getting your views, Mr. Hadebe, after this weekend's convention, before the dialogue itself proper gets underway. I thank you very much indeed, sir, for your time. IFP Chief Whip and Nhlanhla Hadebe joining us this afternoon. 9:01.